So Genesis 3 goes on to the temptation of Adam and Eve to sin against God by eating of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. And it's interesting that he goes through the woman. And, the Bible tells us that it's through man, through Adam, that we all died. But he wanted to get to Adam through Eve. So that's a good lesson, is that, God is always going to, not God, Satan is always going to tempt you through other people. So be very careful. And then he goes into her, and he just really, he's just really slick, and just convinces her that God doesn't want the best thing for her. And isn't it crazy that Adam and Eve are in this perfect place, and even in this perfect place where they have everything they need, he was able to tempt them into thinking that God didn't have their best interest in mind. So how crazy is that? And that's what he's always doing. He's always saying God doesn't have your best interest in mind. So he goes to her and he says, is it true that you can't eat any of the trees? And she's like, no, you can eat any tree except for the one in the middle. And he said, we can't eat it and we can't touch it. And now God never said they couldn't touch it, but maybe Adam told Eve that, because it was Adam that got the mandate from God. And so he says, you will not die if you eat it. God is just trying to keep you from being as wise as he is. And so she looks at it, and she sees that it is good for food, it is good to the eyes, and that it is good for making one wise. And so it's interesting that these go along with the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life. That's really all Satan has. His only three moves are to get you to act out of your lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, or the boastful pride of life. In other words, what your flesh wants, sex or food, is more important than God and people. Or, the lust of the eyes, that what you see is more important than God and people. Seek beauty. And then the pride of life, that your status, the level that you can reach in life, is more important than God and people. That's what it means to have the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life. And that's what Satan wants you to do, is he wants you to make those things more important than God and other people. Because those things are good things. It's good. Sex is good. Food is good. Beautiful things are good. Being elevated in life is good. But it has to be done out of love, and it has to be done in a way that we don't pursue those things, but God gives us those things, and we are more concerned about God and other people. So make sure you live that way, and realize that those are the same temptations that God is always bringing towards us. He always wants us to act out of those three lusts, and we've got to resist it, and we can resist it. Don't let him question God's word to you. Make sure you hold on to God's word. Don't add to it, but make sure you hold on to God's word, and you fight the temptation of Satan to give into your lusts.